show the world I love them. I can show the world I care. I can wipe away my tears. These things I can do. And when the problems come, bringing on a storm, Jesus' tender love keeps me safe and warm. The enemy only comes to lie, to cheat and steal, but there's nothing he can do to take us from the love of you. The little mysteries that I found. I try to get my feet on higher ground. The promises of thy word are written down in my heart. And now you're with me, Lord. No one will keep us apart. Because of you, I can show the world I love them. I can show the world I care. I can wipe away my tears. These things I can do. Because of you, I can show the world I love them. Because of you, I can show the world I care. I can wipe away my tears. These things I can do.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. This is Pastor Errol Williams here for another, fun time live with Pastor Errol. This is truly amazing. And my focus tonight is on something beautiful, something fun. It's not Bible tonight. I will be looking at that tomorrow. I wasn't here yesterday because I was out at a funeral up until around 8 o'clock, didn't get home till after 9, something to 10. So I couldn't get online on time, but this celebration was truly amazing. And I'm grateful that the family invited me to be a part of that celebration. Well, tonight is fun time, and that's what I'll be looking at tonight. I got so much things I want to share with you tonight, and I hope that you will benefit from it, actually, and may God bless you. Thanks so much for joining me wherever you're joining from. I know last week Sister Jenny gave us so much quiz questions. That was great. I hope she will continue doing that. That'd be good. But I hope you had a fantastic day, everyone, and that you're enjoying the weather, and there are more to come, I think. We are fast approaching summertime, and we ought to make some plans, if you like, to enjoy ourselves. Hope you also enjoyed the King's coronation, and that you watch some of it at least. I know that a lot of people were involved, concerts and all kind of stuff going on. I think as someone said, this is a once in a lifetime kind of occurrence where we see someone crowned as king or queen and so on. So let's pray for King Charles III. Let's pray for the royal family. they are also people too that needs prayer. Everyone seems to go through challenges and trouble, isn't it? Right. Without further ado, I just want to say welcome again to everyone. I'm going to see who is here just for a moment, and then we get started into my subject matter for tonight. So, who do we have with us tonight? Well, we have some beautiful people. Natasha McLean, welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to have you. And Brother Clive is in the house. Thank you so much, Brother Clive, for joining me tonight. Sister Jenny Winty, bless you as well. Thanks for joining us. Deacon Stanley Golden and the amazing Shirley Golden, thank you so much for joining us. Angela Davis, how you doing? Wow. Pastor Catherine Moraine, how you doing, Mom? Hope all is well. This is fun time with Pastor Errol. It's a little different to Bible studies and so on. So I'm not necessarily focusing on the Bible tonight, but more to focus on trying to share a few things with you that you may or may not find useful, and hoping to share my screen as well tonight as well. So hoping that side of it will work. So Samuel Sims is in the house. Bless you, sir. Good to see you. And yeah, good to see you as well. Thanks for joining us. So as I said, tonight is really fun time. And the second, third, fourth, and fifth Wednesdays of each month, where I share something that may or may not be of use to you. So if you don't find it useful, then I do apologize. But that's what tonight is about. So without further ado, let's pray. Father, thank you for everything, and everything we give thanks to you for your kindness and for your love. Be with us tonight. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, then. Let me start off by sharing my setup so you can see how I'm set up to do live streaming. And as I mentioned last week, and I will share this every week actually, just for a few moments. And basically, this is a top setup, if you like, a very professional setup, because I do a lot of professional live streaming throughout the week and so on. So I mentioned the microphone I use, the Blue Yeti Pro, right at the bottom left. And it's right here, actually, right here. So I don't use this as the headphone, sorry, as the microphone, even though I can. It's a backup microphone, but it's also my office runner that I use to listen on. So if I play some form of video, let's say I play a video of some sort, I'll be able to hear it in this ear. That's the whole purpose of it. So if let's say I played a song, so you can hear it and I can hear it through this particular system here. So that's what I use. And the computer is quite an interesting one, because it's built to do live streaming, whereby, like, for example, we bought it for the Illuminate service. That's the reason why we bought that computer, because we were bringing a lot of people onto the set, so we needed a powerful computer to do that. The Stream Deck is if I wanted to play something and I just wanted to touch a few switches. It's a switcher really kind of thing. So if you see me do something like this, I use that button to do that. My light system is really very good actually. Since I bought them, it's just been trouble-free, amazing lights. And that's the reason why you don't see no reflection in my glasses and things like that, because of the way it's set. And then I got my phone for my text system. That's what I use for text, for people to text me on. And the iPad, which is an interesting one, because that's what I use to do my writing. That's what I use to do my writing. So you will see me from time to time may write on it. I might draw a circle. I may draw a square, and it just does everything for me. You know, it's really powerful. So it's the ability to do, you know, the writing on the screen. So that's really what I use for that purpose. And that's really useful. And you can see my camera. I do have two of them actually. So there's a physical one right here. But this is you know, I got two just in case of a backup. Really powerful. You can see how small it is. So it just sits on the computer, and um it's a it's a high definition one, HDs, and it's good. I don't need to. There are better ones out there, but this does the job. So if it doesn't break, why fix it, type of thing. You know what I mean? So it works, and I use that as a backup if needs be. You can see my voice meter that takes over my computer audio, and rather than having a physical machine on my table, which I used to have, this is a virtual one. So everything is connected into it in terms of sound. Maybe one day I'll talk about that. And then the most powerful thing that I have, I think, is the vMix software. It's quite expensive, the one I have. But once you bought it, you don't have to worry about it, just the upgrades. And that's really the setup, really. It's really is amazing, I would say. Tell you the truth. Right. Don't forget, if you have any questions for me tonight, then please feel free to put those in the chat room. I will pick up on those points. So welcome, Claude B. Bless you, bless you. Jenny, bless you. Do you think it is God's will to be healed? You know, the scripture says it's not God's will that any should perish, or so we probably may look at that differently. It's not God's will for, you know, there's no scripture that says it's God's will for us to be sick or for us to suffer. On the contrary, God's word indicate to us that it says he wished that we would prosper. You know, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospered. So there's nowhere where it said it's God's will. Now, there may be a situation where it's God's will because God is up to something, he's doing something. So there is the possibility of that. But on a general scale, it's not God's will that we are ill, you know, so God would want us to be healed. That's why Jesus went around healing everybody that he could. So great question. But yeah, it's certainly God's will, really. But God may be up to something whereby he's doing what he's doing. But class said God provided healing in Christ's atonement. If it wasn't his will, he wouldn't have provided it. That is absolutely true, Brother Clive. Excellent point, indeed. Excellent point. Thanks for that. Luke 5:12 for us to be healed. Thank you, Jen, for sharing that. Luke chapter 5, verses 12. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. I do appreciate that very much. So, again, I want to thank everyone for being here and for joining us. It's really an honor to be here with you guys. I count it always an honor and a privilege to be here with all of you. And just hope that tonight would be of blessing or a benefit to all of us tonight as well. Yeah, just making sure that I can sign in properly to make sure that I use this facility tonight. Yeah, excellent. All is well. Perfect. Okay, let me just do this. Right. As I said, this is Fun Time with Pastor Errol. And again, I want to say welcome to everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Right. What I wanted to look at tonight was I wanted to just share with you guys something I started some time ago, and it was a software on the internet called Canva. So I really what I want to do basically is start off with what does that software do? What can it do? And I made a list of some things today, and it's called Canva.com. Okay, so if you go to that website, it's an amazing software, and here's what you can use it to do. You can design social media graphics. So if you're into social media, you can design graphics related to that. You can do presentations as well. Any kind of presentation that you can imagine, you can do in there. You could design posters and flyers. And the interesting thing about this as well is that this is incredible, is that it's free. You know, there is a paid version, but you don't really need it to do all of these things. In a sense, you'll be amazed what this can do. And again, I share this because there are some things that are too good not to share. Now, I want to make this point that technology that you see around us, the mobile phone, that's not man's invention. That's not man's creation. That's man's discovery of what God placed there. God wanted these things to come to light. These things belong to God. It's not man creating it or inventing it. It's man who is discovering what God has for us to make our lives better. And if we don't take advantage of it as individuals and church, then we are missing out on the benefits that God gives to us. You mean, isn't it amazing that, you know, we don't find a mobile phone in the Bible or in the scripture. We don't see any chapter and verse relating to that. But we all have mobile phones now, isn't it? You know, no matter how young or old we are to some degree, we have these mobile phones. But mobile phone is not man's invention in the sense to say that man created it. It's God's discovery. It belongs to God. It's God. The earth is the Lord, and the fullness thereof, and all they that dwell therein. So God has given us these software, these technology for our lives and for the organization and the church and so on. You can do invitation cards and weddings, birthday parties, and sure, a lot of us do that and so on. If you run a business, you could design a logo using it. You can develop infographics that you can use in social media. You can even create your CV, your resume, your CVs within it, design business cards, and then print it out, create website graphics as well. You can design book covers and ebook covers. You can also do ebooks in it as well. So, for example, if you are familiar with Amazon and Kindle, you can actually create a book, an ebook in Canva, and publish it for free and make money. You know, it's just amazing. Marketing materials, design menus and recipe cards, develop mood boards and collages, create custom illustration. I'll show you a few of these in a moment. Designing YouTube thumbnails, and if you're involved in YouTube, you can design your own thumbnails using it. Collaborate with team members. So you can do a design, right? And you can do that design with somebody else for free. So you design it, you share it with somebody else, and you both can collaborate on it and work on that together and correct it and things like that. So it's really amazing. The amount of templates that's there, I'm going to show you that first in a moment. Using Canva's stock photo library, it's like, I don't know how much photos are there, maybe millions of photos, and you can use them for free. Some you'd have to pay for, but some is free. You could customize fonts, different fonts and colors. All the colors are there. all the fonts are there as far as possible. You can download designs in various formats. So you can do it in PDF, you can do it in JPEG, PNG. You could output like your ebooks to EPUBs, and this is not EPUBs, sorry. You can't do that in Canva, but you can design it for ebooks and so on. And the good thing is you can also upload your own pictures in it, cut out the background and so on of that photo. And you can integrate it as well with other software, other platforms. Okay, so it's just amazing tool. And someone shared it with me, so I thought, you know what, I will share it with other people, so that if you're not familiar with it, then I recommend that you check it out and go from there. And I hope that makes lots of sense to you indeed. So what I'm going to do now basically is I'm going to share my screen. I'm hoping it will work. I did try it last week and it didn't work. But welcome, Sister Norma, and bless you. Romans 12, verse 2, Thessalonians, and these scriptures on healing. Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that, Jenny. Greetings, Sister Norma. Welcome, and thank you so much for joining us on Fun Time with Errol Williams, where I tell jokes, play games, all kind of stuff. So I'm going to share my screen so you can see my screen. Actually, you'll be able to see my screen and see my desktop and all of that stuff, so you can see behind the scenes in terms of what I do. So I'm going to leave my picture there, so hopefully you can see my screen. I know you can see my screen, so I'm going to open up now. In fact, let me take you to my desktop. I did tell you guys that on my desktop, right, is the eagle, the bald eagle, and it's just such a phenomenal bird. I don't know if you can see it, but I don't think you can. But I'm going to see. Maybe you can't see it. I'm not so sure if you can. So let me try something here. If it doesn't work, I'm going to have to try again to do it if it doesn't work. I don't think you can actually see my screen. So let me come out of this and go back to where I was and try again, because I don't think you can see. Well, you can see my screen. So why don't you see? Okay. I'm going to do something just for a moment and just to see whether or not I can get that to work, because it's you did see my screen, but you didn't see what I was showing you. So I'm going to try something again. But welcome, everyone. Greetings to you all. And thank you so much for being here. It's just a joy and an honor and a privilege to see you guys. So thanks very much for coming. Right. Just when you want it to work, it's just amazing. And if it doesn't work, I'll have to do something completely different and just check in to see what you see, and you're not seeing what I'm showing you. So I'm going to try again. Yeah, it's technology works. When it works, it's fantastic. When it doesn't work, it's still fantastic. So, so I'm still trying to see so I could show you my screen, because I tested it before I came on, and everything was working so beautifully. So not sure why now it's playing up with me at the moment. Not sure why it's playing up. All right, I'm gonna try one more time. If not, then I'll have to do something else. But at least you got the idea and the gist of what this particular software can do. So, and again, as I say, it's free. And one of the things that you could do as well is, you know, tell it to your pastor, tell it to, you know, share it with somebody, you know, that you feel that may benefit from it. In fact, you never know basically who may benefit from it. But you know, there may be somebody that you know who has got a business, who's got an initiative of some sort, and so on. Share it with them. Okay, I think, yeah, I think it's working. I think it's working. So okay. So basically, you could go to, say, Canva, CANVA.com, and then you could, I've already got an account, okay? So when I go in, I'm already logged in, okay? So you can see that I'm logged into the account at the moment, okay? So this is Canva. You know, I'm logged in up here. So you can just go to Canva and then just sign up for an account, and that's it. You know, that's the start of it. There's tons of videos on the market, tons of videos. Let me just do that. There are tons of videos on YouTube about Canva, so you can actually do that. But the beautiful thing, as I mentioned before, you can design almost anything that you want to design. I'm going to, let's say, for example, I wanted to do I don't know, let's say a leaflet because we want to invite someone to come to church and speak. Let's say that's the case. We've got Pastor Steve Palmer coming on this Sunday, the 14th of May. So let's look at that. So you can see when you come into Canva, you've got your projects on the left, you've got templates, and various apps and various Canva for Teams or something different and so on. You've got all these different things up here that you can look at, different documents, whiteboard, presentations, social media. You can do also videos as well. That's also something that you can do, design a video and output it as a video, MP4, GIF, and so on. Print documents, website design, and all kind of stuff that you can do. So I'm going to click on template, and I'm going to say I'm looking for let's say I'm going to do it as, you can decide the kind of size you want. So you could say at the top right here, I'm going to create a design, and I'm going to make it 16 by 9, 1920 by 1080, and so on. But first of all, what I want to do is to search for, let's say, a church conference. And so I do a search for templates relating to church conference. So you can see all the hundreds and thousands of different ones. You can actually just choose one and just modify it, you know. So I'm going to choose one in a moment. I'm just looking to see which one I like. So I don't know. Let me just choose one. Let me choose this one. So basically, I'm going to choose this particular template. It looks nice, you can see here, but it's not the size I want. So I could customize that particular template. So I have brought it into the place where I would do the design work. And you can see on the left here, all the different, you know, for example, elements. I could go inside here and search for element and bring it up. But first of all, let me just resize first, because I want to do it in a larger size, as if I was going to show it on a TV screen. So I'm going to choose 1920 by 1080 or 16 by 9, which is the one I like. So I could copy and resize, or just resize. It really doesn't matter. So I'm just going to resize it. So you can see now, basically what it does, it gives me the size that I'm going to work on. So if I just, for example, give you an idea, so I'm going to put a background on that, just so you can see what it looks like. So that background you see that I just put on, that's the size that I want it to be, so that when it fits on a TV, it fits, each TV looks that kind of shape. Now at church, actually, our screen is more to do with this size here, and I'm gonna resize it again so you can see. So that's the size of our screen at church. If I'm doing it for the screen at church, I would use this particular size, and maybe it might be best if I use that size to do it. But the beautiful thing about this, I can use any template I want. I could go back and decide I'm going to use a different template. So I've got templates up here. I could come down and I could change that template and do something else with it whatsoever. Or I might say, you know what, I want to work. I want to work from scratch. So if I work from scratch, I just got a white board here. So on the left hand side, you've got these information really. So you can choose different elements. So I can choose this and, you know, put it on, resize it, fit it over there. You can see how very easy it is. I can go to text and I could say, well, I want to use this party pool text, for example, and I just come here and just resize it. I can say COGOP, resize that, and let's do that again. I think what happened is they actually group the text together. So I'm just going to ungroup them just for argument's sake. So I got COGOP here. I could look at easy it is to make it smaller or bigger. You also have rulers that you can use. So for example, if you want to put in rulers and then, you know, measure it up, you know, you have all these guides that you can use. It's just truly amazing. And this is free. This is absolutely free. So if I want to change that picture, I can go inside here and you could see how easily I could change the picture to whatever color I want. Now, if I know the specific color that I want to use, I could come in here and put the X code here. So if I know exactly what that is. So sometimes a client may say to me, I want you to use this particular code. So I'll just come in here and just put that code in, and you can see how easily. If I don't want that, I could just put in my own text, and I could, you know, make it bold, as you can see, drag that out. You can see, just place it wherever I want to place it. Maybe I don't want that anymore, so I'm go back into elements, and there's so much in here I can use. It's just unbelievable. I mean, you could even have this as a kind of a placeholder, and let's say I found a photo. I could look up a photo of this lady here, for example, and I could take this photo and place it right inside of that circle. If I double click on it as an example, I can, you know, make it, maybe I just want to show just that part. It all depends on what I want to show, and that's all I show. I come back in and reshape it. If I don't want that picture, I could come back in, maybe get another one and put it right in there. So you can see it's really just down to your creativity, really, when you think about it. So you've got elements, you can upload your own photo. I'll come to that in a moment. You've got text that you can use, all the different texts. It's just really just down to your creativity. Drawing, you can do your own drawing if you want. It's just crazy. You can do whatever you want. So you can make your own images. I've never used that before, so I know you can move it around. You can resize it wherever you want. That's the draw. There are apps, different apps that you can use to do things. So, for example, this QR code. If I have, let's say, I've got a website that I want to use. Let's say I want to use this website here. might be my own personal website. If I put that into here, it generates a QR code. Look at that. It generates a QR code. And if you do, you know, your QR on that, it will go to that website that, you know, and that could be your website, your local church website, and all of that. So I'm going to just clear everything up the board here for a moment. You've also got photos. You can search for photos, background photos. You can do all kind of background in pink if you want. Put it on. You may not want that pink. Maybe you say, well, let me use this one. I like that, so I'm going to set that as my background. So that's now my background. And then you've also got audio, so you can choose audio. And some of these audio are free, some is paid. And what's also good about this as well, you can use video in this. And I want to show you a video that I thought was amazing. I think it was the bald eagle. If I find it, it might take me some time to find it, but it's just amazing. But I don't see it at the moment. Let me put it this way: bald eagle flying. I just love it. Actually, I've got it on my website. Oh, there it is. So I brought that in. I could put that now. Set that as my background image, and that's the actual background. Say, so I'm going to print this out in video. It could be in video, or it could be, you know, in as a picture. So let's say I go back to text, and I want a heading, and I put here Sunday service. And that could be my heading, you know, could be the local church. You can, if you want to really center it, you can drag it to the side. And it really is easy to use. I just really want to show you how easy it is to use. You can actually just come in here and just reshape this and put that here. I'm going to show you some designs that I've done. And there's just so much things you can do with it, okay? It's just that powerful. So let me show you some things that I have done. So for example, I go to some of my projects, which are here. So these are some of the things that I have worked on. So in a funeral yesterday, I created this for a family. And all it basically is, it's just, you know, the name. So I could add a page here. So all I did basically, if I wanted to do that, is I went into elements here and I typed in, let's say, let me use someone, Juliet, J. So I look for a frame with a J. Okay, so let me see. So I could see all of them here. So I like that one. So I'm going to use that one for the J. J-U, I think. Let's go for U. And look for U. I'm going to use that one here. Just reshaping it a bit so that maybe it's a bit too big anyway. So let me see. Let's make them, so I hold them both down together in the J-U. Go for an, is it J-U-L? So I look for L in that shape, and I'm going to take this one. I like this one. And bring that up here. J-U-L, and then there's, let me just do that. I. Okay, let's use that one. And you can see that it gives me this marker, J-U-L-I-E. And then I will just take that E, I like that E. And then I'm going to go for a T. So let's use that T. Right. So let's say I was designing this for Juliet. Maybe she wanted something done for her party. I'm going to resize this actually to fit onto a 1920. So I'm just going to resize it to fit on a wider screen. Right, so there's Juliet. So I'm just going to make it a little bigger, so at least it stands out. And the good thing about it as well is that a T? I'm not sure if that Juliet. That's a T. Right, so I could go up here now, and I could go on, for example, and let's say I'm going to go into elements. Let's see, or yeah, I'll go for pictures, photos, in photos. And let's say I use flowers. So all I have to do basically is look for the ones I like, and you know, I don't know, maybe I like this one, and just fit it within that. Now the beautiful thing is, if I just do something here, I just need to make. Okay, let me just see something. Okay, Control Z. Let's check something here. Let me just go back to photo. I'm just checking something here. Right. So let me go back to. Okay, I'm gonna. Let's say Juliet gave me some photos to put in. I use those, so I'm gonna put in some photos, inside these, and you can see how it looks. I could use photos. Let's say she gave me some photos. Maybe it's something she's doing, and you just fit them inside these boxes here. I could just pull that over a little bit. So you get the idea. You can see how easy it is. Looking for other photos that I can use. So maybe she sent me that one. So I use that one. Maybe she sent me this one as well. Drag it and just fit it in. So you can see just from her name how that looks. I mean, that's just how long did that take as well. You could use maybe a background. You could just try out different backgrounds. Is that one good? That's a good one, actually. I like that. That's an amazing one, I think. That's a beautiful design. And then we can just take a look at that on the bigger screen and see how that looks. Okay, just make sure that I was familiar with what's going on. And you can see basically the power of what you can do with this tool is just truly amazing. You can animate it. You can put a video. That's a video behind the back there with an animation. And then I didn't animate this one, but all you have to do basically is just decide on the animation. And inside here, you can see I could use that one to do something. I use that one to do a different. I use this one to do a different thing. That one to do something different. That one to do that. And this one to do that. So I'm just going to bring it down just a little teeny bit so that when we go over to look at it in the bigger screen, you see that? So if I go back to it, look at what it does, you see? I mean, that's amazing. And you could then output that as a video, send it to your friends, and it's just crazy. And that's free. It's free. It's free to do that. It's just amazing. And this timeline that you see at the bottom here, I could create another one, do something else, change that background to maybe something different, and just do whatever I want to do. It's really just down to one's imagination. So most of you may see me doing Illuminate. Well, a lot of the designs that you see, for example, are done in Canva as well. So basically, all of these that you see here are done in Canva, and it doesn't take that long. Funny enough, it's clean, it's professional, it's got all the information I want, and it's just really copying and replacing things. So if you got different speaker, you see the design is still the same, but I'm just replacing the people that's being placed in them, and it's just actually amazing. That's Mother's Day, and you can see the amount of people there. And I think this was the last one we did. So I've still got another one to do. And all I do basically is just duplicate this one and then just ungroup it and take that photo off and put another photo in its place. That's really as simple as that, really. But yeah, I thought I'd share that with you. And again, let me just go back to where I was before so that you can see my screen. Okay. Now, just to remind you what we're talking about here, I mentioned to you that Canva can do some amazing things. And I mean, I just touched on the tip of it in terms of the power of what it's capable of doing. And I wanted to share that with you because I think, when you find something good, you want to share it. Somebody shared it with me and it does change my life. And I want to go back and show you something, actually. I want to go back. I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you something that I think is incredible. And this thing that I'm going to show you actually saved me hours of work. Hours. I mean, literally hours. Okay, so let me go to it. So let me go to right. I'm just going to use let's say I use this because this is public knowledge photo, so that's perfectly fine. So I'm going to use this photo here and I'm going to use a new page. So this photo here, I mean, look at that photo. I want to cut this background out. And the way I used to do it before was just truly, truly incredible difficulty. I would bring it into Photoshop and so on. But now you could only do this with the paid version, by the way. You can't do this with the free one. But all I do basically is bring this in Canva, click on that button here, and just click on background remover. And just check how many seconds it takes in able to remove the background from this. Look at that. I mean, that it's there is still a little bit of tweaking that I may need to do, but you can see if I put a background behind it, you can see that it's almost perfect. There is some work that I would need to do just at the bottom here, and just at the bottom here, and there may be some. I think that's probably it. That's it, and that's almost perfect. Look at that. That's incredible. Now that used to take me hours to do, and imagine the time that it's now taken me. It's remarkable. I came across a photo of some friends of mine, and I just found the photo, and this was the photo, and I took out the background and just created a postcard with it and sent it to them. And it's amazing, what you can do with this software. It's just incredible. I mean, that is just so cool. It's the time saving on that is amazing. And so basically what I'm saying to you is share it with your church. It's canva.com. Canva.com. And it's just amazing, to tell you the truth. Just share it with whoever you can. It's your grandson, I shared it with, this is amazing. I shared this with my granddaughter, Dishay, and she has a business called Party Favors, and this is what she uses. And you'd be amazed. I don't have it here. You'd be amazed at what she produces. She actually produces labels that you can put around the actual, bottle. They call it Party Favors. I never even heard of Party Favors until she spoke to me about it. But the things that it can do is incredible. There's lots of training videos on YouTube, and guess what? The training videos on YouTube are also free. So go to canva.com, share it with your pastor, share it with those who are on the public relation team, share it with your grandchildren, share it with your children, share it with your friends. It's free. And I don't work for Canva, as you probably are aware. And I don't get any commission for sharing this, but I think it's too good not to share. And you can do amazing things with it. And here's a list of 21 things, and there are more, but these are the list I wanted to share with you as to what you can do. So finally, as I close off on this section of it, you can do social media graphics easily, and they have all the measurements for you. Presentations. If you notice, when I showed the presentation view, you can do that in presentation and so on. Easily design posters and flyers, business card, church cards, invitation cards, logos, infographics, things moving, texts are moving all over the place. And you can also do website graphics and design book covers. And this is one of the things as well. I can show you how beautiful it is. So you can have your own cover in, say, 2D, and it will create it in a 3D for you. So it looks really beautiful, and so on. So you can do that right here. Amazing. Menus. And the good thing about it is everything, there's a template for anything. So you can just take the template and just modify it to your preference and so on. And one of the things is I like is there are other people who have designed. For example, there's a young lady in the church who designed a particular design. And I all I said to her was, send it to me, share it with me. And she shared it with me. And I was able to use the same design, but just add my own information and so on. The amount of photos and videos that you have in the library, it's just, I think it's in the millions, I think. I'm not sure how many. Fonts and colors. So if you've got your own custom colors, like the Church of God of Prophecy has custom colors that I use, and they're there as well. And you can download it. Let me just show you the final thing in that, where you can actually download this. And so if I just share that with you. So let's say I wanted to download this particular photo. It's a church Christmas card that maybe I want to design. I may put some text to it and so on. So I could just go here and share, and then I click on download, and I could download all of them one time. So, or I can just download one. So I'm only going to download just page 11. So I'm going to take off that. Take that off, and then I'm just going to do page 11. So that's the page that I'm going to do. Now I could do it in PDF, or if I'm going to print it, then I would use this. I could do it in a video, or a JPEG, or PNG, or SGV, or in a GIF. So most of you that get emails from me, I have a GIF at the bottom of my email created right here. So I'm just going to take a PNG. I'm just going to leave it at that size. I could make it bigger if I want. And I'm not going to make it a transparent background. If it's a transparent background, then it wouldn't show that in the back. And then I'm just going to hit download. And it downloads very quickly, actually. You can see it right there. So I'm just going to go into Shift E to see where it's gone. So I brought up my downloads here, and I'm just checking to see if it's arrived yet. It didn't. Don't see it. Let's see what happened. Okay, here it is. It just arrived. Just arrived. Okay, so I was looking for it in my download folder. It looked as if I did the wrong one. I did page 11 and not page 10. So let's go back and do it again. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. So I didn't. I'm going to do 10 now and then go to PNG and leave the settings there and just go. And now it's downloaded, it's finished. That's the one up here. And it's on my desktop now. And here it is. I double click on it to have a look at it. So I'm now looking at that on my computer. I'm no longer in Canva. I'm now looking at this on my desktop. Don't these ladies look amazing? This is our children ministry department. They are just incredible. Sister Dawn in the red, and they're amazing. All right. So basically, it's just to give you an idea of the incredible things that you can do with this software. It's just out of this world. So I'll leave that with you as something that I've shared with you. And I just advise that you can share it with your church, your family, your colleagues at work, your friends. Almost everybody know about Canva. Anyway, let me stop there. And that's enough for Canva. Let me head over to the chat room and let's see who is here with me today. So I'm going to head over there just about now. Bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you. You can see my my whatever you call it is not set right. So we're gonna just click a button and that should come into position. And there you have it. So let me just make sure that we are set right for that, and there we are, much better. Welcome again, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Fun time and some great things going on in the chat room. And trying to find my mouse. There you are, right. Greetings again, Jamaica Riddles. Cow and a donkey are coming around the corner. They crash. Okay, let me see that one. Cow and donkey are coming around the corner. They crash. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't know. Julia said, good evening, Pastor Errol and everyone. Yahweh's name, blessing. Walk down the road, see greenhouse inside one white house. There's red house and some brown windows. What am I? You say you walk down the road, see greenhouse, inside one white house, there's red house and some brown house. What am I? I'm not sure. I would have said I'm a human, so, but I'm not sure. They are both coming around the corner at the same time. No, Brother Clive, no one of them were wrong. And Jenny says no and think. The cow is wrong. He should blow his horn. That's a good one, Sister Norma. Oh my goodness, that's a good one. Jenny, where's the answer? Give us the answer to the both of those. I want to know. So let's know the answer to both of those. I'd love to know the answer to both of those. All right. Wait until Jen. The other thing I want to share with you tonight, and as I made mention during fun time, there are certain things that I would do. So I think I shared a personal development tips last week. And in the time that we got left, I may share. She said, yes, Sister Norma, the cow is wrong. He should have blown his horn. But supposing he did blow his horn and they still crashed, who would be wrong? That's a good one. So I want to share one more personal development tip this week, and I think that this is a very, very important one. Last week, I shared one with you, so I won't go over that last week. But I share another personal development tip, and maybe next week I'll do a game, share with you, maybe chess, backgammon, or drafts or something like that. But this personal development tip is, and I've spoken about this before on numerous occasions, and I do believe strongly that this was the very first skill that I ever learned in personal development. It was phenomenal, and it has changed the course of my life forever. It's just truly wonderful, and I am grateful to God for allowing that to be shared with me. And I want to share it with you because I think it's powerful, and it's called listen. Okay, and I'm trying to see if I can write listen. Yeah, I think that would work. I was trying to write it big, but it's an easy point to remember. So even if you're not writing this down, you can easily remember it because it's a mnemonic. And the first one is look interested. Now, normally when we are communicating with other people, sometimes people they don't look interested. They're not seem to be paying attention. They don't seem to be focused. But when you're listening to someone, which is one of the most powerful skills in the world, by the way, it's best to show that you're interested. So you're looking interested. You're maintaining eye contact. You're not doing other things at the same time. You're not distracted. You are focused. You look interested. You are sitting up. You're facing the person, or standing up facing the person. You are paying attention to the person. Really what you want to remember is this point I'm about to make. You want to let the person believe that they are the most important person at that moment. That no one else in the world at that moment is as important as that person. So you're giving that person your undivided attention. You're glued to that person. It could be for a split few minutes. It could be for half an hour, but you're saying to that person with your body language and with everything in you, you are more important to me right now. It could be your partner. It could be your spouse, children, grandchildren, friends, whatever. It could be on the phone or off the phone. But the first rule I want you to remember is, am I looking interested? Does the person believe that they are the most important person at that moment in terms of my giving them attention? If you do that, that could be a great thing to achieving great results, because personal development is such a beautiful and powerful thing to do. So you could say, well, I'm going to take one of these skills per day. I'm not going to try and master them all in one day. I'm just going to try and master one at a time. So today I'm going to practice with all my children and family and friends. I'm just going to practice looking interested. I'm just going to practice paying attention, putting down the phone. I'm not on the phone while I'm talking to you. I'm not watching TV when I'm talking to you about something important. I'm not talking about a social encounter, but even in a social encounter, you may want to think about how you look. The second one is inquire with questions. Now, when you inquire with questions, you're not interrupting the person. If you stop the person to make your point, then you are interrupting the person. But I would suggest that you look at skill number 2 and say, well, I'm going to try and master the art of asking questions. So you could have open questions or closed questions. You know, we could talk about probing questions and things like that. But you just want to ask questions. You know, let's say you meet someone for the very first time, and you know, you decide, I'm going to master the ability to ask questions in this situation. And you may ask, what's your name? Now, that's a closed question because the person is only going to give you one answer. Well, my name is Johnny. You know, nice to meet you. Where you're from? Well, that's a closed question. It's just a one answer. You might be talking about something that upset the person, and you might ask the question, how do you feel about that? Now, that's an open question because that person could not write a book and give it to you, because you've asked an open question that could give you a lot more information. So what I'm suggesting here is this, that you master the art of asking questions, because asking question gives information. Now, if you go in, for example, in a courtroom, what are the prosecutor and the defense doing throughout the trial? They're asking questions. The lawyers, barristers, and these legal experts, they have learned to master the ability of asking questions. They're just asking you. They're not giving you any, you know, like facts all the time, though they may state some, you know, facts and exhibits and things like that. But their main purpose is to question the witness. They master the art. They are trained in colleges and universities to ask questions. And it's just, you listen to court cases, it's just questions after questions after question. And you're in a conversation with somebody. Asking question will give you information. Asking question would put you in a better position to be able to appreciate what the person is saying and so on. So you want to ask, master the ability. So how do you feel today? What makes you think that way? Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. What happened next? And you just ask questions. You just master. Obviously, it depends on the situation, the circumstance that you find yourself in. You might be in a car with a friend and you're walking. You want to make your point, right? You want to tell the person what you're thinking. Well, try and restrain that and just say, well, let me ask some questions here. Because asking questions allow the person to give you information. All right, next one. Stay on target. Now, what I have discovered in conversations, generally speaking, is that you're talking to somebody about point 1, and before you know it, you're talking about point 2, point 3, and point 4, and then you got to think, what really happened to point 1? Did we ever conclude? And you could find yourself talking about different things, and you're being sidetracked by your own will, or by maybe somebody else who's sidetracking you. But don't allow yourself to be sidetracked or manipulated. Stay on target. Stay with the subject that you're on. Now, it could be that you're speaking to somebody about a particular point, and they bring up, or even you bring up, a far more important point. You can decide to switch if you want and discuss that if you want, or you can say, well, you know what, let me finish this point first and then come to that point next, or vice versa. Normally, when I'm in a meeting, I was chairing our last business meeting, and I'm asking for corrections for the minutes. And that's my target. I need to get the corrections. And somebody would come up with a matter arising. What happened to the thing that we said we were going to fix? And my response would be, good question. But we can look at that when we come to matters arising. But right now, all we're looking at is the correction of the minutes. Now, I could have answered and got sidetracked or manipulated, not negatively, and the meeting just drags out and drags out because I got to think about all the people in the room as well. Because this person may ask the question about, so what happened to the fence that we were supposed to fix? And another person said, did you fix the drain? And so my response is, good question. We will come to that in matters arising, or we'd have to put that to any other business. Very important point you've raised. But at this moment in time, very gently, I want to give you a phrase. And you better write this down because you may forget it. Be ruthless with time, but gracious with people. I said it the other way around. Be gracious with people, but ruthless with time. Are you following me? Be gracious to people. Deal with them graciously, but be ruthless with the time. Now, I was graceful to the people, but I'm ruthless with time because my meeting starts 6:30 and it's going to finish 9:30, not 9:31, not 9:35, and not 9:50, and definitely not 10 o'clock. If I don't get through all my business, that meeting is closing unless, and that's in exceptional cases, I may ask for an extra 5 or 10 minutes from the people that's there, but I will not go over time without their permission. So be ruthless with time, but be gracious to people. Don't allow yourself to be sidetracked. Stay in target. If you decide you want to go to the other issue, that's perfectly fine. You know, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no law that says you can't do that. But if you're dealing with something very important to somebody, I recommend that you stay focused. Stay focused. Stay disciplined. T is test your understanding. Now, this is a very, very important one. It is impossible for you to accurately understand what the other person is saying unless, listen to me carefully now, unless there is feedback. If there's no feedback going on, then there's no way you can guarantee that you understood what the other person is saying. There's no way of doing it. So you test what you understood. You might say something like, so what you're saying is, and then you repeat what they're saying in your own language or your own words, and they will either correct you or say, that's exactly what I'm saying. Then you know that you 100% understand what the other person is saying. But if there is no feedback from either of you, then how will you know that you understood what the other person is saying? Always remember this. Different words mean different things to different people. You know, it's. I'll give you this example. You'll find this in Mr. William Churchill's book. Our prime minister during the war. He talked about a time when there was a major argument between the British and the Americans. He said it was a major argument because the British, I'm going to see which one said it. Yes, the British says we need to table this item. That's what it was. That was the word that caused the confusion. We need to table this item. Well, the word table to the British meant something completely different to the Americans. The interesting thing was they both wanted the same thing, but the word that was used created different meanings in their minds. So when the British said table it, they meant put it on the table for discussion now. It's that urgent. Well, to the Americans, the word tabled meant to put it in the drawer and forget about it for now. And they argued. This is in his book. And they argued and they argued and they argued until they discovered that they both wanted the same thing. Different words mean different things to different people. So unless there is feedback, you either ask for it or you give it. That's the way it works. If I'm in a conversation with somebody and it's very serious, or even if it's not serious, I may ask them, what do you understand from what I'm saying so far? And they will tell me. You know, sometimes I'm on the phone with somebody. I think it was like yesterday or so. No, it wasn't yesterday. I think it was today or Tuesday. Well, yesterday was Tuesday, isn't it? So it must have been today. And I said to the person asked me for my email address. And I gave it to the person, but the person didn't repeat it. So I said, is it possible if you could repeat it back to me just in case I gave it to you wrong? Because I didn't want one digit to be out. I need to be absolutely certain that she understood me. So when she gave me the feedback, I was able to correct her because she had a digit wrong. She may have had 2 L's in my name when really it was only 1 L. So you got to test your understanding. You either give feedback to the person about what you understand, or you ask them for it so that you can test whether both of you are on the same page. Test your understanding. Test, 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 test. In fact, the first 3 rules in live streaming is test, test, test. You test everything. So even before I came and shared my screen, let me tell you what I went through to share my screen with you. First of all, I didn't know how to do it. I know I had done it before, but I just can't remember how it was done. So I phoned up Brother Rob Clark, Pastor Rob Clark, and we talked through it. It just didn't work. I emailed the company, right? I emailed the company and they sent me back and they couldn't tell me how to do it. But I know it can be done. I've done it before. So I played with it and I test and I test and I test and I test. And I tested for hours. I sat here and tested it and it worked. So I knew when I started tonight, something is going funny again, but I know it works. And eventually it came through, but you can't test enough. Test your understanding. Make sure you give the feedback or you ask for it. Take responsibility of that. The next one is, which is E, a really good one, is to evaluate the whole message. Now, what's interesting is this. When you are communicating with somebody, when you're communicating, I'm trying to get a page and it won't give me a page. There you are. When you're communicating with somebody, you're communicating with them through 3 channels. You're communicating through body language. Yeah, you're communicating through the voice, or what we call tone of voice, okay? And you're communicating through words. Now listen to this carefully. Listen to what I'm about to share with you carefully. Only 7% of what they understand is from the words you've spoken. Only 7%. So 7% of what you understand from what the person is saying is their words. 38% is by the way they said it, and 55% is through body language. The most powerful means of communication in planet Earth is body language. That's number one. Number two, number three. Therefore, 93% of what the other person understood is not by the words you spoke, is by your tone of voice and your body language. 93%. Research proves this and shows this. The body language is amazing. I mean, it's just incredible what body language is saying. Your body is speaking so loud, you know, they can't even hear what you're saying. Yeah, you may have heard the phrase, your actions speak so loud, I cannot hear what you're saying. Because your actions are amazing. So when we say we say evaluate the whole message, when you're listening to somebody, watch out for the body language. Study their body language. What is it saying? What is their tone of voice saying? What are their words saying? That way you will evaluate the entire message. Because the whole message is not just coming through what they say, but how they said it and the body language that they use to convey that. It's incredible. Now, brothers and sisters, I leave the best till last. This, what I'm about to share with you, is the hardest thing known to human beings on planet Earth to do. And it is to neutralize or control your feelings. Now, brothers and sisters, I kid you not, neutralize or control your feelings is the hardest thing to do on planet Earth. Do you know what? We have mastered so many different technology and telephone and computers and send man to the moon and things like that. And many of us still have not been able to control our own feelings. If you're not able to control your feelings during conversations, you probably won't have much relationships. You won't have much people sharing with you because they don't know at which point you may become very irate. So there are times, you know, somebody may come up to you and really curse you out, dog you out kind of thing. And if you can just maintain your cool and be calm and stay in control, self-control and calm, you'd be amazing what the result would look like. I was in a training course one day and I taught this particular subject. This is my last thought on this. And I taught this subject on listening skills. I taught it to you in just around 15, 20 minutes. And I then asked for someone to do a role play with me. So I want the person now to really be really rough with me. Give me a hard time. I mean, an extremely difficult time. Nobody came forward. There's probably around 30 young people and adults in the room. So I said, I want someone to come out and give me the roughest time possible. And I'm going to try my best to demonstrate these skills. Now, it's only a role play, so it's not like it's real life. But nobody came. Now, there was a young lady in the room that everyone felt would give me a good challenge. So they pointed to her and says, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and do it. And she said something that really shook me. She said, I'm not doing nothing with Errol Williams. Because the other day I came into his room and he made me look stupid. Now, when she said that, I'm the trainer in the course, and she's accusing me now of more or less insulting her or something along the line. I started to sweat. I really did. I started to, no, because I'm thinking, I didn't do that to you. Yes, I do remember you coming into the office and behaving badly, but how did I make you look stupid? This is what she said next. She said, the other day I went into his office swearing and cursing and behaving badly, and he just sat there and listened to me. She taught me something that day. And what she's really saying is this: whenever someone comes to you behaving really, really badly, swearing and behaving really bad, and you sit and listen to them, look interested, ask questions, stay focused, stay on target, test your understanding, evaluate all what's going on through their body language, tone, and the words, and control yourself. When you do that, you're causing the other person who's behaving badly to take a very good look in the mirror. You're making that person look really particularly bad. And that's exactly what happened to her. I didn't realize it, that I sit in there and listen to her. Eventually, I remember in the office when she came in and the way she was behaving, I can't remember what it was about. Eventually, she was sitting down and we were just talking generally, as two proper human beings. I didn't judge her based upon her behavior. I didn't criticize her for that. I just knew how to listen. And what I find amazing is how good sometimes we can listen to other people, but not listen to the people closest to us. I find that amazing. I taught it for years, and I struggled with being able to listen to my own wife, and she's the one that I ought to be listening to the most. I struggled at first. It was very challenging, actually. Not so sure why, to tell you the truth. So here is an amazing skill, an amazing personal development skill that we all could do with. Look interested. And I would say take one per day. That's what I did. And I said, I'm going to master this one today. I'm just going to look interested. And then I took the other one and so on and so forth. Commit it to memory. So you don't need it on paper. Just commit it to memory and share it with your grandchildren. Write it down and give it to them. You'd be amazed how you may save a marriage. You'd be amazed what this could do for people's lives. What it did for mine is just truly remarkable. Thank you for listening, everyone. Bless you, bless you, bless you, bless you. What is God's will for us? Somewhat, Jenny says. And that's a very good question, actually. What is God's will for us? And the answer is very simple. God's will for us is His Word. That's God's will for us, is His Word. Sometimes we think that God's will for my life is to be a pastor or an evangelist. That's not the only thing that God called us to. And some of us take an ordinary sister in church who is married, got children, got grandchildren, who works as a secretary in a big company, let's say, and so on and so forth. She goes to a particular church and let's say she's a Sunday school teacher. Now, look at what she's doing. Make a list of what you're doing. She's an husband. She's called to be, sorry, she's a wife. She's called to be a wife. It's God's will that she be a wife. God will that she has children. She has children. God will that she have grandchildren. She's got grandchildren. She's got a lot of responsibility there. I don't even have to go to a workplace and to a church. What we tend to do, which is to me a major mistake, we look at God's will only relating to certain spiritual things. And sometimes we don't look at the whole picture of what God's will is for life. But if you want to know what God's will is for your life, I'm not interested in meeting up with some prophet. I know what God's will for my life is. God's will for my life is in the Word of God. It's His will for me that I be holy. That's His will for my life. It's His will for my life that I love my wife. That's God's will. It's God's will that I work on my gifts and my talents and my abilities for His glory and honor. It's God's will that I be a father, a grandfather, a great-grandfather. It's God's will. It's God's will that I take the Lord's Supper. It's God's will that I share. To whom much is given, much is given. So when we talk about God's will, the scripture is God's will. That's it. That's it. You know, someone might say, is it God's will for me to be a teacher? Hey, let's put it this way. It's God's will that you use the wisdom He's given you to decide on certain things. It's not God who is deciding for you to be a teacher. It's not God who is deciding for you to do certain things. There are certain things that God leaves for us to do. God leaves it for us. He puts it in His word by saying, if any man lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who give it to all men liberally and upbraid it not, and it shall be given unto him. I'm not just called to be a pastor. That's just one element of what I do. I'm called to be a husband, called to be a father, I'm called to be a man. I'm called to live holy. That's God's will. All of those things. You find God's will for your life in the scriptures. It's just all over the place. I hear people say, come to this meeting and let us pray for you so God can show you your will. And then we get sidetracked into some thing in the scriptures, like fivefold ministries, for example, and we narrow it down. Oh, God called me to be an evangelist, and that's it. So hold on a second. So what about the other things that you're doing in your family, in your workplace, in your community, maybe the charity that you're involved in? What about those things as well? And so we tend to narrow it down because maybe some preacher in church missed the mark and told us some utter foolishness that led people away from really God's will. I'll share two things with you tonight. One is Canva, and I do believe from the depths of my heart that you will find Canva one of the most amazing software out there that could help your church and could help your family and could help somebody and so on. And I share with you my very favorite skill. I call it listening skills, being able to listen and listen accurately. I want to stop right here. I want to say thanks to everyone for tuning in tonight. I'm hoping to be here tomorrow, and I intend to be on the book of Romans. I believe that's the book that we're looking at on a Thursday. So do join me tomorrow if you can. I hope that I'll be here. I plan to be here, all things being well. So I want to say thank you very much for joining me tonight. It's a fun time with Pastor Errol. I really do appreciate your company and your presence as well. So bless you. If you do have any questions or comments for me, you got my email address. Let me just put that up for you. You got my phone number as well. So go ahead and email me, write to me. Maybe there's something that you want to share with me that you think we could look at here on this channel on a Wednesday night when we do fun time. Yeah, give me some ideas. I'd love to hear from you. Well, until next time, take care of yourself and your family. Bye for now.